Alright guys, so this is going to be a quick review on everything we've done on completing the square so far. The assignment's going to be basically doing 4 more problems, so most of you guys should be solid at this. I'll just do a quick review, ripping through this. Remember, completing the square, hopefully the things that you should know: cut, meaning cut in half, right? And obviously squaring things. So those are 2 things. And the other thing you've got to remember is when you do the lightning bolt, positive and negative ions. Okay? So let's go through this real fast. Step 1, get rid of the constant. Yeah, I'm going to zoom in on this, you guys. Sorry about that. There we go. So I get x squared plus 8x. Those disappear, so I'm going to leave ourselves with that blank on that side. Over here we've got a 33, and again I know I'm going to be adding the same thing to both sides. Okay, so step 1, get the constant to the other side. Step 2, take b, that middle term, move it over here. It's a positive 8. I'm going to cut it in half, which gives me 4, positive 4. I know that's going to be my cheat, but I still have to square it, so it gets 16. That's the number that goes to both sides. And most of you guys are solid with this. Okay, so from there, I'm going to do the cheat. I know that this is always the thing that goes in the middle. So I've got x plus 4 squared. I have just completed the square, right? On the other side, looks like 49. Okay, so that's completing the square. That's part 1. And then step 2 is to solve it. So in math, it's always getting rid of things, making things disappear. How do you make a square disappear? Square root it. Alright, whatever you do to one side, do the other, and that's the lightning bolt. So we got to remember to put those in there. So on this side we have x plus 4 left over. Remember, the square and the square root cancel each other out. And then over here, we're going to test it. And of course, the square of 49 is 7. So that's a whole number. We're just going to put it right back here. Easy money. Alright, so from here, we're going to subtract 4 from both sides. So I've got x equals negative 4 plus or minus 7. Okay, and then we split this into 2 equations. Minus 4 plus 7. Oh, sorry about that. Minus 4 plus 7. And minus 4 minus 7. So it looks like we get a 3 here. And a negative 11 here. Okay? So that's a rational answer. When the square root comes out perfect, we know we're always going to get a regular number, decimal, etc., called rational. Okay? Alright, so let's go back. Alright, so now we'll do one that's irrational. And again, most of you guys are pretty solid at this. So number 2. Again, let me zoom in a little bit. Okay. Alright, so you guys know the routine. Here we go. Get rid of the constant. And again, it just becomes a routine. On one of the assignments today, you're actually going to see one where you have to get everything to one side before you move the constant over. Just beware of it. Alright, so that leaves us with nothing there, which is what we want, because we know we're going to complete the square. We got to create this new thing. And over here is minus 52. And again, plus, we don't know. We do our thing, complete the square, cut in half. So negative 16 sliced in half gives us the negative 8. We know that that number is the key to completing the square, but we're going to square it. And we know it's always going to be positive 64. And again, technically, I'm supposed to put this in parentheses, but you guys know the routine. So we know 64 is going here, and 64 is going here. Again, we cheat. We know that the first step gives us our complete the square. So it's going to be x minus 8 squared equals, and we'll put these 2 lovely things together. Like negative 2 plus 64. Hopefully I can do this in my head. I'm struggling right now, just so you guys know. I think it's 12. And we'll go from there. Alright, so that's completing the square part. Now that we complete the square, we just solve. Again, how do you get rid of squares? We square root them. Whatever you do to one side, you do the other. Anytime you do a lightning bolt, there's positive and negative ions. Okay? So on one side, we have x minus 8. On the other side, we're going to do some testing. Square root of 12 is definitely not a whole number. So we got our list 4, actually 1, 4, 9, 16, etc., etc. One of these numbers goes into 12. Indeed, a 4 goes in. So we know this breaks up into a 4 and a 3. Take that 4 out, comes a 2. So this turns into plus or minus 2 root 3. Okay, and some of us actually will put it in first. You guys know the routine. Again, if you're Rooney or Schulte, you guys have 2 boxes. Either way, it comes out the same thing. Okay, then we finish it up. So I'm going to do plus 8, plus 8. So it looks like 8 equals 8 plus or minus, and we simplified to square root of 3. Now again, remember, for those of us who aren't great at simplifying, if you put 8 plus or minus square root 12, technically that's the same answer, but on a test and in college level courses or multiple choice, they want you to simplify as much as possible. Okay, so that's the irrational. All right, so your assignment is on the next page. Let me just reset this real fast. So if you guys need to freeze it, come back to it, go for it. This next page is 4 problems. Answers are on the bottom, so you zoom in. Just watch out for number 3. I'm just giving you a hint. Number 3's got some funkiness to it. You can see over here on the other side something weird, and then it turns out to be some strange number. Just stick to your rules. It actually ends up being easier than you think. All right, 4 quick problems.